Good day, grade 8s. This is the second lesson of chemical reactions, or we could say chemical change. I would like you to ask your parents if you can use some vinegar and an egg, raw or cooked, but it must have its shell on, to do this activity on page 110. I'm going to describe what is happening, but it would be a very good thing if you go and do this according to the worksheet or the document I've given you. So I want to use ball drawings to show to explain what was observed. On molecular level, the reactants change into products. So before we have vinegar. Now vinegar is called ethanoic acid, and I don't expect you to be able to draw these diagrams as this is one of the more advanced molecules. But on using ball diagrams, or first of all using the words, you've got ethanoic acid, and the substance that an eggshell is made of is calcium carbonate. And what is formed, all those bubbles are carbon dioxide bubbles. I'm going to mix the words with formulas now just for the sake of space. And what is the other product that we can't see that is formed is calcium ethanoate. And please don't be afraid of what I'm going to do next, because it is also described in your textbook. So, ethanoic acid has 2 carbon atoms in it, and I'm going to represent this as the carbon atom, and there's another carbon atom joined to that carbon atom, and the second carbon is joined to an oxygen atom. Sorry, this oxygen atom must touch the carbon atom because there's a chemical bond between the oxygen and the carbon. And that oxygen's got a hydrogen joined to it, and each of these carbons would have hydrogen, and this carbon's got a second oxygen joined to it. I would really not ask you to do this complicated one, so I'm just showing you what is happening. So calcium carbonate, calcium is a much bigger atom than oxygen or carbon or hydrogen because it is in period 4. So I have to draw a bigger circle for that, and I'm going to put dots in it. You could use a different color pen to represent it. Now this is joined to carbonate. Now carbonate's got 3 oxygens joined to a carbon. And because the oxygens and the carbon, they're in the same period, if you look on the periodic table, those balls must be more or less the same size. Then carbon dioxide's got the carbon atom with 2 oxygens joined to it. Sorry, these balls should be round and they must touch. And calcium ethanoate would look like this. So ethanoate has got 2 carbons joined together. And the second carbon's got 2 oxygens joined to it. And the first carbon's got some hydrogens joined to it. Oh, there's another thing that is formed here, and that is water. This oxygen here joins to calcium. I believe that some of you would be very scared and lost here, but don't worry. Just keep pushing through. You will get the hang of this. It's just that the 2 examples in the textbook involves a difficult reaction, the reaction between vinegar and an eggshell. Right, to note that the particles are rearranged, not all of them. If you look at these, they stayed the same there, but the others were rearranged. The calcium took the place of the hydrogen there, that hydrogen, and the carbonate changed into carbon dioxide. It changed into carbon dioxide and into water. Right. So the old bonds were broken in this reaction and new bonds were formed. I want you to hear that during a chemical change, old bonds are broken, new bonds are formed, so we say that the particles are rearranged. And in this reaction, you would see gas bubbles forming because carbon dioxide is a gas, and we could represent it by a G for gas in brackets after the formula for carbon dioxide.